Oh, hi everybody. I was just reading this peaceful night. Welcome. Today I'll be continuing to read Wings of Fire, The Dangerous Gift. Well, Tundra asked smoothly, who are you going to move? Yeah, agreed the wall. Your mother never took this long. Snowfall's head hurt. Her teeth hurt. Why did her teeth hurt? Every night she had to do this. Even when she had much more urgent crisis to deal with that in hindsight of palace dragons. Such as dragons that were coming across the ocean right at this moment, preparing to tramp their dangerous talons all over her snowy kingdom. She wished she had a list of their names, and an entire history of their tribes, and an explanation for their behavior, and an outline for where they were planning, and when they got there, plus a battle strategy for getting rid of them. Tundra cleared her throat. Right, the wall. Snowfall adjusted the heavy crown on her aching head. She couldn't remember even seeing half of these dragons today. How was she supposed to know whether they deserved to be moved up and down? When everyone avoided her or spoke to her in a polite monosyllables. Where was she supposed to hear about squabbles, mistakes, outrages, or triumphs in their freezing little acrobatic world? How did Mother always know everything? Snowfall glanced sideways at her aunt. Tundra had lost her husband, Narwhal, in an IceWing Nightwing battle. One of her children lived in exile and another was in prison awaiting a trial, while a third was recovering from a very bizarre magic spell. Snowfall didn't know quite what to think of Hailstorm these days. He seemed rigidly perfect on the outside and all melted together on the inside. Tundra looked exactly the same, though. Snowfall never saw a hint of sadness or rage or resentment in her face, even though they both knew perfectly well that Tundra had always hoped her daughter, Icicle, would take the throne from Glacier before Snowfall could. Never going to happen now, Snowfall thought. After all those years of competing, suddenly I'm the queen, and Icicle's locked in the dungeon for being a traitor, and none of it was up to me in the end. She lifted her chin. Act like a queen all the time, no matter how much your teeth hurt. Hailstorm could go up a notch. He hadn't annoyed her at all today, and it would please Tundra. So perhaps she'd let Snowfall cut this short without too many more changes. Snowfall stabbed her claw into Hailstorm's name and dragged it up a spot. She left Tundra's name where it was, safely in the first circle, ever since Narwhal sacrificed himself to save the new queen. She also left Crystal up among the top 10 names, even though she could feel Tundra glaring at it intensely every night. Wherever Crystal was, she was still a princess. She hadn't done anything terrible that Snowfall knew of. She wasn't definitely out there trying to raise an army to steal Snowfall's throne, and she wasn't certainly hiding in a palace trying to poison Snowfall's food. So just in case, these are IceWings, and back here, oh wait a minute, it doesn't show. So IceWings are basically, you can imagine a dragon with a bunch of icicle spikes on their back, and then they have this grading system called the wall. So if you're at the top of the wall, you're like top, you're better than everybody. And then there's the adult wall, so that's how this whole system is working out. So let's continue and see what's going on. She was only maybe doing those things. Snowfall wouldn't knock her down the list for maybe crimes, even if maybe-ness of them were terrifying enough. If she left Crystal's name in place, she hoped it would look as though she wasn't afraid of her sister at all. She reordered a few other names, trying to keep her eyebrows arched in a bored, haughty way. So easy, this boring task, her eyebrows yawned. Easiest task in the world, definitely not frying all my brain cells. I think she's irony. It is frying all her brain cells, but she's trying to tell people that, no, it's not. Really? Tundra said once as Snowfall slid her Uncle Permafrost down a launch. were pointing out again how easy it would be for sea wings to invade from the northern ocean side of the Ice Kingdom. A reminder Snowfall really did not need right now, thank you very much. Tundra snapped her jaws shut as Snowfall glared at her. Finally, Snowfall stepped back, shaking her talons. Her claws felt as if they might shiver into a million pieces in the moment. The wall always made them feel that way. And they were fine after a while, but it was unpleasant. That's your final decision? Tundra said, just a hint of skepticism in her voice, easily denied if Snowfall had snapped at her. Yes, Snowfall couldn't take another moment of this. She had to figure out what to do about approaching dragons. The only other IceWing she knew was the scout who reported to her. The anonymous sandwing, Jeroboa, knew, too. Snowfall had gone to her for a spell to protect them, but it hadn't been any help because anonymous magic was broken. Or Jeroboa was lying to her, and either way she was useless. So Snowfall needed to deal with an invasion by herself. Somehow, although so far her strategy of pacing around her throne room all night hadn't practically been effective, even so, alone. That's what she wanted to be. Specifically, somewhere away from Tundra. She wrestled the giant crown off her head and shoved it into her aunt's talons. Her head eased a little. Go away, she snapped. Now. Tundra bowed and swept off, leaving only a faint vibration of disapproval in the air behind her. She never said anything obvious to remind Snowfall that. Only a few months ago, Tundra and Narwhal had been practically second in command to Queen Glacier. She never even hinted at memories of their former relationships. Back then, Snowfall had been so careful about every word she said, afraid of offending her aunt and falling down the ranks as a result. Snowfall knew Tundra must hate the fact that she had to bow to her niece now, and probably Snowfall wasn't helping the situation by barking at her and ordering around. She couldn't help it, though. He was too overwhelmed by everything else to add, be more polite to Aunt Tundra on her list. If there was only one upside to being queen, surely it's that she could finally snap at dragons who deserved it. Couldn't she? Maybe she couldn't. Maybe that was the worst queen behavior, not best queen. Maybe she was messing this all up every time she opened her mouth. She glanced up at the wall again. The wall didn't say anything. Of course it didn't. It's a wall. But it was clearly thinking about how civil Queen Glacier always was, and it was definitely judging her. This is sane. It is normal to feel judged by magic walls. I am perfectly sane queen with a well-functioning brain and everything is fine. Something snapped in the country yard behind her. Snowfall whirled around and stared through the icy raindrops. It all looked same, pale, icy, wet, weird shadows. But it wasn't empty. Someone was there. Someone was watching her. Suspense, right? I hope you enjoyed this so far. And next time we'll be reading Chapter 2. Let's see who this mysterious stranger really is. See you next time. Bye!